Okay, who here hasn't been to space? Why? You better not throw up on my ship.
Approaching jump in 3, 2, 1.
What's up and what's going on, fellow Fanatics, and welcome back to my YouTube channel where we discuss all things movies, TV, streaming, hot topics, and more. And in this episode, we are going to be reacting to episode 3 of Ms. Marvel. We are still behind, but after we watch this episode, we are going to be caught up, and we are going to be streaming and watching episode 4 with you guys this Wednesday. So we'll have our discussion and everything out there by the time everybody watches the episode. But I'm going to shut up. We're going to get right into this, and we'll give you guys our quick thoughts right after.
Hi, Nani.
Hello, Kamala.
Can I call you later?
You need to come to Karachi.
What? Ami wouldn't even let me go.
Oh, you both need to come.
Okay, Nani, please come. Can I call you tomorrow?
Did you see it? Did you see the train, beta?
How did you know about that?
Because I saw it too, which is why you have to come. You have to come to Karachi.
What, Nani? Nani?
Overall, for me, that was a pretty good episode. I was going to say the same thing that you said at first. It was running a little bit slower. I thought maybe this is our filler episode. We're finally getting to that filler, but no, it was actually a really good episode. It had really good backstory. It had consequence. It had stakes that left us on a cliffhanger, wanting to know more about the train and wanting to know just more about Kamala Khan's family's back history. That was a good episode. I'm really enjoying this show so far. You know, like I said, from the very beginning, I'm gonna keep saying it. It just wasn't on my list. It's still, you know, not one that I'll put up there as like boom, boom, boom up there in the MCU. But it's an enjoyable show. It's a great show. I'm still loving learning so much about the culture and seeing, you know, like I said, the wedding. I love seeing that. I've seen actual real videos of that, like I said, but seeing them actually incorporated into the show was cool. Seeing her actually kind of somewhat tapping into what she can do and how to use her power, or and is it going to be a thing where it's not the tear to miss, but they're kind of going off of that, because they said that Bruno said in the last episode that the band just enhanced something that was already inside of her. Right. So could they be going something like that? I mean, like I said, I don't know. A lot of questions still. How many episodes do we have? 3 more. 3 more episodes left. 3 episodes left. Good episode. Trey, what do you think of this episode?
Excuse me. Sorry. I thought it was good. You know, you mentioned in the beginning about you thought this would be our filler episode, right? And my concern with that is when you're doing these 6-episode series, you don't have room for filler. You don't. If you're doing a 12-episode season or a 24-episode season, you can play with that number, right? But 6 has to be to the point. And, you know, I like that. I feel like there's this... They're really pushing towards community and family in this movie. Which, sidebar, blows my mind because, like, isn't everyone like, we need family values in our television shows? And that's what you're getting here. But I think it's definitely heading towards an embrace of her community knowing who she is and knowing her powers and protecting her. That her mom said it best about like, you need to depend on your family. You have to like let your family love you, right? And I think that's going to be a big thing when this is all said and done, is everyone knows and they're there for her.
And that was a question I was going to ask. I couldn't remember from her comics if her parents knew who she was. Like
See,
I can't even remember in the video game.
I haven't read the comics, but in the video game, I think it was just her and her mom.
Was it just her and her mom?
I think so.
Okay.
It really, I mean, the video game was very quickly, like, she runs through town to go see her set-up superhero area, you know, her little imaginary superhero place she's built, and then, like, the game starts and you don't go home. So, I don't know. But... no, I liked it overall. I thought it was a really good episode. I like the delving into culture that they are.
Oh, yeah.
And this is a good example of right when it maybe got to the point for me where I was like, nothing's going to happen this episode other than driving the characters, which their casting is great. Let me reinstate that.
Yeah.
Their casting is amazing, but right when I got to the point where maybe I was a little like, okay, can something happen? Something happened. So.
Yeah, the casting is great. You know, they did such a great job of casting it. Her mom, like, they actually seem like a real family.
Yeah. Her dad and her brother are great casted.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I can't think of what it's essentially in a mosque, the priest, but it's not a priest. I can't think of the name, but he is great. The religious leader, basically, right? Right. He is great. Her cousin is great. Like, overall, the show is just good.
It is really good. Q, your thoughts on this episode?
I mean, I know a lot of people wouldn't agree, but I mean, me personally, this is really one of my favorite shows to start. Like, just 3 episodes out. I personally like it simply because I feel like it's something everyone can enjoy. I don't think that there's anything you can watch this and not, whenever the good things are happening, you cannot smile or something. Like, I feel like whenever, it's easy to tell when the show's wanting you to be emotional, when it's wanting you to be happy for the characters. I don't know. And I feel like at least through these first 3 episodes, which would be half the season, we just now got, like I said, whenever we were watching it, that's whenever he revealed, like, the whole plot line. So it's like we kind of know everything now. So it's like these next 3 episodes have so much potential to me because it's like we know all the backstory. We know from, like, where we left on that cliffhanger. It's really like, I mean, we don't really know too much about her grandma. Really, we're still waiting to that, which will probably be
next episode.
That, or like they'll leave it to be like some big bad thing at the finale or whatever. But that they finally do punch through that wall or whatever. But it's like, I don't know. I really like the show. Like, I have nothing to complain about. Like, everything y'all said, I agree with casting. The writers of the show, they care about it. And it's like, I think what really, my favorite thing about it is we came into this not really expecting anything.
I was just about to touch on that.
Not really, I don't think, we really could have complained about how they changed so much of how, like you brought up last week, how they changed her backstory and everything. But it's like, as much as they did change and went in and everything, it's like they care about this show. Like, more than maybe some of the other shows have had some thought and care put into them.
Yeah, and that's sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
That's the thing with this show, that of how well they're nailing the culture. It's like, what do you want them to do? You know, I mean, if it's
kind of like what we talked about.
Yeah, but
you said about having people that actually give a damn on your projects, and these are people that don't just give a damn, but they're also people that come from their culture.
Also, I would just say, if you're gonna make, like, let's say you make a Muslim character, right, and anyone who watches the show that is from that same background is like, everything here is inaccurate. They didn't even try. That's kind of more of an FU than, at that point you're pulling on the culture for views. You're not actually,
I don't know. In my personal opinion, like, me as, I mean, just like an American viewer, if I was a writer of the show, this is how I would want viewers to perceive their culture or whatever. Like, they're perceiving it in, like, a positive way. Yeah, like, they're not, nothing's, like I said, nothing's bad about anything they're doing in the first 3 episodes.
Kind of like I said, to touch on what you said about the expectation, I had told Henry way before the show had come out, when we were talking about the upcoming things that hadn't come out yet. I said, honestly, I don't think that anybody can have an expectation for Miss Marvel other than that we know that they changed her power, because that was the main focus of Miss Marvel's advertisement. Oh, we changed her power, this and this and that. Other than changing her power, there was no big talk about Miss Marvel. So that's why I said, what can you have nothing. You can't have expectations going into this unless you're like maybe unless you're a huge Miss Marvel fan and you've read all of her comics and maybe you have a problem with changing her backstory or something like that. Then maybe you can have some type of expectation. But for the normal fan, as like myself, I'm putting myself in the normal fan category here for Miss Marvel. I had no expectations for this.
I do have one complaint about this. That's I've seen it so far. We've seen it 3 times in the story. This damage control team, they're a bunch of morons. Like, that's my thing, to where they're all lined up and she's like, oh, let me obviously hop over you, and then get in the car, and they're like, oh, what do we do? Or like that. Or they're going in and arresting everybody in 2 obvious, like, they came in while they were still holding each other, and then the first question is, where'd that girl go that you were standing in the middle of the room holding on to? And they just get to walk away out the door, loud as can be, like. And
one of them limping out.
They're carrying each other, and this is after you're already calmed down, arresting them. I just, and I'm not saying that makes the show bad or anything. I'm just the damage control team is
something behind damage control. I'm telling you, bro. You have to. I don't know. I could be overthinking things. I couldn't be making things, just could be my own weird theory here. But like I said, I'm going to continue to think that Agent Cleary is a Skrull. I'm thinking that some parts of the damage control team are Skrulls. I mean, you have to think we're coming up on Secret Invasion, and some of the things that we do know about Secret Invasion from what the MCU standpoint is going to be, they are obviously going to stick to the basics of Secret Invasion from the comics, knowing that there are people that are going to be Skrulls that have been political influences, people that have been in S.H.I.E.L.D., people that have been in Hydra,
yeah, but that
that
doesn't change them not being able to catch her and then showing up at the mosque and then.
What I'm getting at, they probably have the Skrulls probably have an interest in, obviously whatever, if that's what the case is, have an interest in these individuals' powers.
It's like they still just call like Forge in, like.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That power
they may have
duplicate.
missed like Kamala Khan and everything, but they still went and got like 4. My thing I wanted to bring up that I kind of forgot about is what was up with the 10 Rings logo in the beginning.
I when you said that and I saw it, I have no idea.
Because I did read online that people were talking about how the thing on her wrist could be like the other one from the 10 Ring, like they're connected somehow.
Could be.
Because that they turned the 10 Rings into a bracelet in the MCU, so they're saying maybe in the MCU they're connected somehow, but I just thought it was interesting to see that, especially beginning of the episode.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not sure what the 10 Rings connection
and that was in, 1942?
We'll see in this, it was in 42, but this is what we would call fresh ground territory that we can't pull anything from the comics from, because the 10 Rings are not what they are in the MCU at all. It is a totally different thing. They look different. They act
No, that's what
different.
I'm saying. In the MCU, they made it completely different. That's what I'm saying.
So with the MCU, they could have it fully connected.
That's what I'm saying. This may be their way of... Because
but this is something
in the comics, they're
all.
fucking rings. Like, they made it a bracelet in the MCU, so...
And they have, like, ungodly powers of control over life and death and everything else. Like, they're so overpowered. Yeah. But... yeah, I mean, it's the fact that the MCU can kind of... because some things in the comics are really hard narratively to... like, the 10 Rings and the powers they have, giving that to Shang-Chi right now in the MCU, no one is going to be a threat to him.
Right.
I mean, we just got to look at, like, the MCU as, like, its own comic, almost. Like, they have their own writers.
Right.
Like, comics have writers, these shows, movies have their own writers.
The MCU draws heavy, and I mean heavy, from Jonathan Hickman's runs, but... they twist those runs. Right. They take those runs and they mix them with other runs. Like that's like for like Secret Wars. I think Secret Wars is going to be pulled heavy from Jonathan Hickman's rather than the original Secret Wars comic. Just because Jonathan Hickman's deals with multiversal stuff, and that's what we are currently dealing with.
Well, but it also goes into understanding your artistic medium of choice, right? So certain things that work awesome on the comic book page when we're talking correct use of paneling and how everything lines up. Or the way a plot develops, right? When told through a comic book, seems to work better, or you can get away with certain things that you can't on the screen. And vice versa, they might try doing something on the screen that looks so badass in the comics and they can't get it right, so they have to change some things. It's how it works. You can't expect it to be word for word, scene for scene, but they do try their hardest to get as close as they can. And I think we showed that in Moon Knight, when he's in the mine prison, sitting there with... the main Haro, yeah, and it's like boom, boom, or the Thor trailer too. They'll really try.
They're getting better at it. It's like maybe not in like phase
plus
1
we've
or
been
2,
seeing the
but
more comic book accurate costumes and things like that. So the MCU, I mean, it's definitely the MCU. I thought this episode was great, but as always, question is for you guys. Let us know down below what you guys thought of the episode. What do you think that we're going to be going into episode 4? Are we going to be seeing Kamala's grandmother and get more of a backstory on her great-grandmother? Is there some type of connection with the wristbands and the 10 Rings?
Or the train?
So many different questions, and questions about the train. What connections there do we have with the train? So many questions. And is our guy Bruno actually going to get a chance with Kamala? Is he going to get his time with Kamala without getting interrupted? But we have so many questions about the show. The show has been great, so it baffles my mind that the viewership is even down. But as always, let us know what you guys think down below in the comments. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. We'll see you in the next video.